Hmble versus Novo. Can Novo keep their run going, or is the experienced Hmble gonna stop them here? Hmble, of course, this is their third year playing together. That's a lot of time in Brawl Stars. Hmble on the right-hand side as the first pick on the Golden Gulch. Something we see, let's say, not too often, but it can definitely work.
Yeah, it pops up here and there. And I do like Hmble. It's been getting played quite a bit more recently than it had in the previous month. So, you know, I'm more than welcome to that because I do enjoy that brawler a lot. Me, Najeen, and RT bans from the Hmble side of things. I like those. Really solid. And then the Angelo, the Ziggy, and the Jae-Young. Ziggy, a brawler we've been seeing like banned out a lot and feel like rarely played. Gray may have been, you know, banned in the past, but not in this one.
I wonder if Kit comes in as well, because now that I see Hmble and also RT banned, I think there's real potential for a pesky brawler to get in the mix here. When I see Gray, it just immediately telegraphs me potential of teleport plus something, but even the Walking Cane alone, I think, is enough to justify a Gray pick here.
Let's see what's going to be next here for the side of Novo. Already have the Hmble for some range. Maybe something aggressive is in order here. Versus the Gray and the Pierce, aggression should work quite well. Of course, Gray can TP away, but other than that, they don't really have too much. Could also, of course, take away the Brock here, as Hmble might be looking at that brawler wanting to pick something up to break open the map to help Pierce do even better. Bo does the same function. They can open up the map now. Are they going to go with even more range, Trev? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if the plan is to break up the map, it would make sense. I mean, the Pierce is going to be good with the map broken up as well, that's the thing. The Gray kind of not out of it, especially against a Hmble. And Walking Cane, I mean, can put them in a really good position. But yeah, I mean, more map break wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Bo, it's going to take a bit of time. Obviously, less now with that totem that's going to provide him the super a bit more. But it's not like you can just do it instantly.
I think Bo's solid. I'm just curious of why it goes specifically into something like a Pierce and a Gray, because Bo going to be more of that mid-range, and assuming that they're landing the shots from Pierce, I think that can be good. They definitely need to cover themselves if that's the case. Here comes Daryl once again. It's a brawler that I don't think East Asia featured much at all, and I haven't seen this brawler a ton in practices across the world leading up to this, but this is kind of an old-timey concept. Because Daryl can charge that super passively towards those in-games, he can roll in. He's not going to be empowered by something like a Kit when we saw it with Foot Esports, but I still think as a standalone, he's not the best brawler in the game, but makes sense on this mode at least.
Rico could be picked up here just for that lane. It's going to be something directly targeting that Daryl on the right-hand side. Charlie kind of come in here as the tank counter. Right-hand side, usually you pick up Bo to just make sure you charge up your supers as quickly as possible. But with the map slowly breaking up, I don't really know what the Hmble super would really do for them. And on the other side, Daryl gets super anyway. So super interesting come from me at least. Let's see how they make it work.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It really is. I think Bo, you know, you're going to be playing for those mines in the late game, trying to just trip people up, have, you know, someone accidentally go over a mine. You know, Ark's been saying, I don't know how pros are falling over mines, but we saw Tensai do it about 10 times in one game yesterday. He's a world champion, so I don't think that's something we can really be saying that much anymore.
If Tensai can trip over a mine, I'm allowed to trip over a mine. Sorry, ranked randoms. Lukey already off in the middle of the map alongside Boss, tearing open this right-hand side grass. It's going to gain a little visibility as Semantic juggles his way up this right-hand side, inching his way forward. The bow shot's going down from the distance. I'm sure part of the influence for this pick, too, is the extra vision that you can get from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be a little bit cautious here of this Walking Cane in this portion of the map, but they do have a totem down to kind of stop that from happening. Little gadget comes in with the Hmble's mansion to block off Boss's pathway, and that just kind of gets rid of some more of that grass. So they're going to be able to sneak back and forward down that left-hand side from this point. Nice roll coming in from Filippo. You'd have thought Boss would have accounted for that a bit more. Lukey going for the ammo. Nice stuff. But he will go down, and Filippo should clean up here. Just wasting that last one roll because he wants to start working on another super.
Yeah, great call out as well. Just a veteran decision there just to ensure that they can work towards that next round. He's even got a hypercharge already stowed away too. Meow will cut off this map, and Semantic knows he's a goner. He's just going to back off into the green fog, concede for the next round. Unfortunately for him, won't get a super for his troubles, and Terry won't either. Just looking for any extra shots they can get, but that means that Filippo's going to be that much closer to already having a roll ready to go.
Yeah, it just seemed like a massive oversight there from Boss, you know, with knowing Daryl's there with the roll, putting yourself alone in that situation is definitely not going to be the play. But slight mistake, and it needs to be rectified now with a round back on the board. But Novo, at the moment, in the lead. Lukey just trying to scout out where they are with that ammo and try find some shots. But Meow has a super of his own, and with that, might be able to get two in there. Just gets the dug, but pulls him through. I don't think he's going to be able to escape that nonetheless. And Semantic, trying to survive, doesn't again. Novo absolutely walking over them at the moment, but Lukey's starting to do something now. And Meow realizes that he can just go for this because, I mean, it's a 3v1. And if they win it, then the game's over.
Of all sharpshooters, Luki, of course, with all the ammo that he can replenish, it helps, but into something like Filippo, that's a Daryl with so much HP to boast, I don't think there was a real chance there. Novo Esports doing a good job of playing the mind games I called him to. You could tell that Charlie on the top left-hand side of that map was just extinguishing ammo, just looking for anybody, trying to figure out where the other roster was, and then all of a sudden, pop! Here comes Daryl rolling down the middle of the map. The walking cane was connected from Boss, but it still wasn't enough to deal with the onslaught that was coming in from that red roster. Beautifully executed, I would say, from Novo Esports.
I mean, I just think that we need to see more from Hmble. I feel like there was a few mistakes and bad positioning here and there, rather than, not saying it was bad by Novo by any means, but they're taking advantage of these slight mistakes from Hmble. Nice shots coming in now, though. He is slowed and trying to get that finished off. Meow goes in for cover, but will fall. And a shot with the super, tanked by the bow totem, so won't be getting the ammo back for that. But good control in mid, and the 3v2 is not something that you'd expect Hmble to lose.
First time we've seen Hmble with an advantage for one of these rounds. They definitely need it. Weren't very convincing in that opening one, just not very Hmble-like, but still, of course, a lot of set left to be played, a lot of proof. I think there's some validity in this draft. Oh, and the mechanics, of course, once again, Boss making contact, opening up this as well, and that's a bigger deal than you might think. That's one less spot for Filippo to hide in this next round, because Daryl especially loves getting in the grass, burrowing down, and just waiting for a moment to strike.
Some great shots towards Hypercharge there for Boss as well. When they pinned him in, and he can't go back to the spawn because he's feeding Luki a super, he can't go up because he's feeding Boss a super. Just a really difficult position for Filippo to be in. And in the end, Boss had the super already, so it shouldn't be too far from a Hypercharge now. Got to be cautious of Meow throwing out this gadget, though, because Terry, with mines on top of it as well, can really punish you for being pinned in.
Semantic, once again, doing his due diligence, scouting out that left-hand side, walked all the way up the skinny line of grass, so therefore knows, especially with that wall break up top, that Filippo has to be on this right-side grass alongside his teammates. So Novo just dodging out shots. They do have Filippo super on that right-hand side that you can see. Terry, of course, can drop mines too, but I think they're just being patient. It's very clear that Novo want this in-game.
I mean, Terry surely going to be throwing these mines and hoping someone goes in a bad direction unless he saves them for the late game, but Boss, having the TP at the moment, can really target out this Hmble if he's left alone. Here's this little supercharging totem, and Terry throws down those mines. Everybody going in now, but he's cocooned straight away. Think he's still got to roll in there. The walking cane going to be missed. All need to focus down on the Daryl. They get some good shots in. There's the Hypercharge. Super goes through. I think it hit both as well. The super thrown down in return from Meow, but that's just not going to be enough. And I was going to say that bow mine made me question myself for a second. But they do come out with the win nonetheless, and that's a great response from Hmble after a pretty disappointing game one. To get two in a row like that is exactly what they needed.
Would have had to been the greatest stumble of all time for that bow mine just to trigger every single one of them. Much better stuff out of Hmble, though. The adjustments in round one especially, they're really making sure that Semantic walks down that left-hand side. Early, though, right. I mean, there's a lot of decision-making that goes into this, but of course, the one time Semantic goes right, Filippo is going to go left. Luki does not know this yet, though. Filippo bravely popping a gadget, didn't have that super, maybe a little bit early. I think could have gotten real sneaky with it if he just stayed a little bit longer to try and charge a super.
Just trying not to feed the bow super on the right-hand side here. Going to be real tough when this totem is up and Semantic getting outranged. There's another roll in as well, and Boss just seems to constantly be out of position, not having the help of his teammates. Semantic pinned forward, Luki boxed in, and he's just going to kind of, I think, walk on top of that mine, if anything, to be honest with you. But Novo starting that with a round and one more needed for this first set now.
Boss definitely making a mistake there because they clearly saw that Daryl went left. He was hiding in that grass, even got a few taps from the shotgun. It may have been long distance, it may have not done much damage, but it's at least something to start getting them to a super. So once again, the mind game's going the way of Filippo. He goes to the right side this time. Semantic went all the way to the left, walked himself up there, fishing the barrel, going down for Luki. A walking cane goes through to Terry, barely holding on Filippo there to save the day once again. Boss just is not having his way in this matchup, very clearly going to the double barrel.
I mean, it is brutal. Novo dominance in this first set here. Yes, Hmble got a game, but the other two was all Novo. People stepping out of line constantly and getting caught off guard. It's just not something that you'd expect a team like Hmble to be doing.
Last month, it was very clear to me that Foot and Hmble were the best two teams in the region, no questions asked. I mean, in the quarterfinals, very convincing stuff all the way through. In the semifinals, 3-0s across the board against some quality rosters, I might add. And now we're seeing both of these teams falter. Sure, Foot Esports are in the grand finals. They're still obviously very good. But most importantly, there are teams like Novo, even teams didn't make top 8 last month that are popping off, that are now in our semifinals. This is a testament to this region. I feel like it's always an internet debate. Is the EMEA really the best region? They didn't win World Finals last year. This is how it works in this region. There's always teams on the rise. It is never easy to win. Hmble, of course, longtime veterans know this, and early on, they're going to face a deficit. This is a big pickup for Novo Esports.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to start strong against a team like Hmble. You really do. Get a first set on the board, put some pressure on them. I mean, stats-wise, 1 kill, 64 DPS for Semantic. Didn't see a lot from him. Boss was just getting picked off so often. And I mean, Luki actually did his job and actually played well. So 5 kills and 252 DPS for him. But so many times he was just the last man left standing and his teammates had already been picked off.
Definitely a tough look for sure. A boss with 0 kills, and I'm never usually worried about DPS too much in a mode like this, but it's even more impressive to see Luki still providing numbers with the Pierce. And this is a reminder to y'all at home, 79% of us, all of us on the desk included, we're guilty as charged. Picked against Novo, and I don't think it's necessarily because we think Novo's an inferior team, but it's more that just Hmble are tested. They've been to the grand finals so many times in this incredible run that they've had, and for a team that's making roster changes, I think a lot of people have talked about that Na'Vi roster change. Do you know why the Novo roster change happened, though? It's because Na'Vi made a switch, so Novo were victims of that, and they bring in Meow. They get a victory over Totem, who Na'Vi lost to last month, I might add. I mean, this is one of the bigger winners of the day, regardless of how this match goes.
Huge benefit for Novo, but managed to pick up Meow. It's lucky, to be fair, that there was someone that good left for them to add to their roster. Bull's going to be the first pick coming in from Terry. It's been kind of slipping through a few drafts here and there. And Ring of Fire, it's not the brawler you'd expect, I won't lie, but Hmble going to be able to get this Ems in return. Really solid draft of that brawler. You know, I really like an Ems, to be honest. The ban-wise, we're looking at the Mina, Finks, and Crow. Over the other side, Chester, Lou, and Otis out of the way.
Been a frequent decision all day. If we pick the Bull first overall, can we deal with the anti-tank that's incoming? That's why you see Otis, Lou, and I believe a Chester all banned out, so Ims, I think, is the next best thing. Once again, the range game, wouldn't mind Luki on that brawler. Once again, he popped off in set number 1 despite the loss. I think this is well-rounded. I'm curious what they match up in the middle with for Novo Esports specifically, because Pierce is such a long-range brawler, of course. If Bull can run at him, it's going to be a very tough one for him. But at the same time, I think with enough control, I still see the vision for why, while Hmble are going to be able to make this work.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just always got to be super cautious with that ball. I mean, regardless of how cautious you are, he still does something every game, pretty much. You can't stop him forever. Meg's going to come in, and I just love the fact you and I were just laughing about how many kills he was actually getting with just the little gun in the last one.
It's delightful.
Yeah, but they bring it back. Novo going to show up with that brawler, and we've questioned it a few times in Hot Zone, and it's paid off a couple of times as well. Gray going to come in, and honestly, this is half the reason why these brawlers are, you know, global banned a few times, because there's so many maps where Gray can just TP people into the middle, and that's exactly where Bull wants to be.
Not S tier by any means, I don't think, and especially at a casual level on your ladder games, you're going to have to run with friends with a very specific composition, I think, to make it work. But this is one of those examples where Gray is going to fit really well, I think. You're going to pair it with a tank and Bull, the best one in the game at that, and then on top of that, Meg is very beefy, has 2 lives. This is a very well-rounded roster. I think all day long, Novo been drafting very well. Pam going to come in as the ringer here for the left-hand end. I think having a Scrapsucker gadget is going to be really nice. The healing station for the backlines. I don't think there's a real easy way unless Bull sprints at it, which why would he do that? And then on top of that, unless they're exhausting a walking cane or something from Gray, this could actually be a really good pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, like, the Scrapsucker is just great, because no matter if he's using Hypercharge, if he's just supering in normally, you know, he's going to be able to tank so much damage with the shields that those offer. But Scrapsucker, you can't stop. He's going to be there with no ammo, and surely you're going to be able to deal with him at least somewhat more. But he's just going to be very cautious about keeping those gadgets, allowing him to just stay on top of those matchups, because if he's wasted it, then he's going to have a real tough time.
Hmble have been at the top of this region for a long time, but are being tested by a team that didn't even make top 8 last month, that are fresh with a new roster change. It's a world champion at that, so credit to them. Terry starting things off hot on the left-hand side, made that walking cane work. Filippo rocking the new brawler that's at the top of our meta right now. Gets the pickup early. Luki responds. He's just so good on Pierce once again, just popping off already with a double frag.
Yeah, Filippo knows he's going down there, but they do actually just accept that. He goes in, takes out the turret, makes sure it's still not lingering there at the back, and Bull coming up now with a super in hand, going straight towards his opposition, trying to get some work done, but they've got so many defensive bits. Oh. Double hypercharge from Meow, just swings once, swings twice, and takes all of Hmble out as they all respawn at the same time.
Disgusting. Filippo led the charge, dove in right at the enemy team, and then just a big old baseball swing, a home run coming out of the Meg there. Filippo not going to play his cards too well here. He's going to go down early, doesn't use that super. I believe even may have had a hypercharge circling around his name too. This time it's Hmble with a perfect response. Still have the lead now. A hypercharge going down perfectly timed too, but Filippo overpowering them. Semantic cleans up, and somehow they're able to push through all this, but it's a constant Novo aggression. Anytime you have that gray TP, the dimensional door is such a powerful tool just to get right back in the middle.
Yeah, well, the M's had an answer to it that time with the hypercharge, and they only need to have a few more answers in general, to be honest, because they've got so much of a percentage lead, 20%, if they can just stay around the zone, and Filippo getting hit so hard every time he comes in. Meow tried to come around the back of that and get some work done, but it's just not looking possible for them. Terry TPing in now, and the Bull will be after that, but they can just stay on little by little. He can't do anything. Meg still in the back bush, and they're going to get a game on the board for Hmble.
Great 6-pick out of Hmble. I think this Pam was an excellent answer because they can just establish a healing station early on, and once that gets up and running, even though Novo are constantly cycling in brawlers, Hmble are constantly gaining HP. They can just cluster up together. They got M's for the hairspray that can fan out and make sure they're covering their bases. Pam with a scrap sucker. If somebody pops up, she can immediately take away their ammo. And Lukey, I need no further explanation. I mean, the early game here, he just is going to be a constant killer.
Yeah, I mean, this man's an absolute beast on Pierce. Gets the super off now as well. Should be able to help Semantic get that kill. I mean, Meg's on the zone, but shouldn't be for too long as all three members of Hmble are there willing to fight him off and get a couple of beautiful connections again for Lukey. He'll get that super off onto Terry as well. That's a much earlier teleport this time, I won't lie, set up on the zone, so it gives Novo at least a bit of a chance. But they've got a great comp to deal with these guys TPing in.
Novo are just eating bullets, and they've got a healing station now established super early in this game, too. I mean, same can be said for the great teleport. Filippo, oh, that's just tragic. That's one of the more insane things I've seen. Despite that, he still goes in, but not going to get a kill. It's left to Meow to swing away. Now, that was very needed out of Novo. They have to keep going. Oh, and now the hypercharge. This is where the whole construction of this really comes through. But Hmble also have a response of their own. A hypercharged turret going down, which means they'll get shield. This makes them even more deadly.
Yeah, need to get that hyper super down, to be honest with you. I'm sure Bull will just kind of fly in now and try and get it done. Didn't get knocked back there either, surely. Must have been mid-super, and that's another good kill. But it's just going to be endless TPs, surviving for a little bit, trying to get this percentage done, but narrowly, Hmble will start to catch up if they don't keep on getting on.
Novo's barbaric composition is going to have to just punch its way through because otherwise Hmble are going to keep cycling healing stations, rotating brawlers up to their faces. Here comes Filippo once again, immediately stopped in his tracks, goes down instantly. Oh, this is just great stuff out of Hmble. This 6-pick answer of the Pam is just constantly providing for them.
I mean, Bull trying to do what he can, but he can't do a lot. Goes down again, and another healing station established. That's going to be close. Can he get the supers off? Gets one, gets two. Boss still really low, but stays on for now. And Semantic doesn't even need to join him. Hmble get the answer in set 2 and bring this scoreline back even.
I respect the strategy coming out of Novo, but Hmble were just ready for it. I think anytime you see Bull escape the ban stage, these teams clearly have a thought of how they're going to answer it. Love that they still go for the Pierce, and once again, Lukey played excellently, but I think the team as a whole was really playing around each other. There was no individualism here. Lukey was landing his shots, Semantic was making sure that he fanned out shots to get that healing station. The earlier he gets that, the more he can match with Terry. Meow was even getting some great hypercharge team wipes, but it was going to take about 3 more of those if they wanted to win that set.
I mean, for me, I don't really respect the Novo comp, to be honest with you. I think
You're not a great guy. You're a tried and true, just old-timey. Let's get some area control and win our lane.
Kenny, you know me so well. You know me so well. Let's actually have a good fight instead of just TPing in 50 times and hoping for the best. I mean, look at those stats. 2-1-6. I mean, Meow, as you said, got a couple of hypercharges off, couple of, team wipes in there as well, but his teammates just good DPS, good shot. I mean, 559 DPS is ridiculous for Meow, but look at the kills on the other side. 10, 10, 15, just great kills across the board, good DPS, and a very even percentage split as well for the side of Hmble.
That percentage split, too, it's so even because I think it's a reflection that all 3 of them were basically in the middle of the hot zone. If they were all in it together, they were winning, and when they weren't, they just came back up. The second they could deploy a healing station, they get back in the mix. 716 DPS, by the way. I mean, that's a stat farmer, if you will, kind of composition against the other team, but nonetheless, for a sharpshooter to have that level of numbers, that's pretty unreal.
Yeah, it is crazy. It really is. Novo, they started strong, had a bit of an issue there, and to be honest, you know, when you're faced with that composition and you kind of already committed to this composition that you wanted to go, like, I don't know if they'd have wanted to play that matchup off the start, but real great stuff from Hmble to just hold that down. You know, endless PAM supers, endless M supers, and the TPs really weren't doing enough. We're on to gem grab in hard drop 9 up next, something that should be a bit more to my liking, Kenny.
No Leon, no Spike, no Glowy. Those are ones I'm looking out for from the global ban stage. I mean, sometimes you see Mortis come in here, but I don't necessarily think it's the top tier choice. Chester more what I'm looking for. Anti-tank off the rip. Something we've seen all day long, whether it's in East Asia yesterday as well. It just makes too much sense to me. I think equipping yourself with a safe selection first overall. Chester has been that for a lot of teams today. By the time it's all said and done, when our grand finals are over, wouldn't surprise me if he was the top brawler pick of the day.
Yeah, nor me at this point. I really like this brawler, how versatile he is. Ban-wise, I mean, I like it as well. Novo definitely not wanting to face that Ems again, let's be real. And I can't blame them for that either. Janet going to come through as the mid. I think it's a really solid mid. It's seen less here than it is on like Double Swoosh or something like that, but still really solid nonetheless. Can do a good job against those aggros, the jump away, the flight as well. It's just really well-rounded to stay alive in these kind of situations. So second pick is theirs as well. Expecting them to just take something, you know, pretty versatile, like a Spike or something. Spike ban, but like along those lines of the versatility we've been seeing all day long.
A lot of the popular lanes have been removed from the equation, whether through global bans or the regular bans. Yeah. Chester already gone, no Rico, no Ruffs, Spike out of the way, Leon no good, so they're just going to go ahead and grab a tank here. Lily, one of the better ones, especially in this game mode. It's mostly due to the access to the Shadow Realm. You can either use a gadget to disappear, or most importantly, save that hypercharge super for a final moment. There's just always potential to win a game when you have Lily, because if you make contact with the enemy's side, you can grab those gems and immediately disappear. It's a phenomenal and very unique side to her kit.
Well, BB is going to be the brawler of choice from Hmble, and I like that a lot. It's going to be difficult for Lily to get those kills onto her when she's going to be popping, you know, healing that's healing per second half of the damage that Lily's doing. So, you know, you've got to pick those situations as a Lily really well, you know, when you know you can get those kills. And the same against the Chester as well. When he's throwing out 5 pieces of ammo, it's like, that's going to be a big hit to the face if you TP in on that. So really going to have to measure his opportunities, make sure he has gadgets, hypercharges, and single out these brawlers. Still, I'd say missing a mid for me, this Hmble comp. You can, I guess, play Chester there, but Sandy's going to be the one coming down, and I think they're just hoping to have control of the opponent's bush.
It's more normalized. I think there's only 2 ways that the right-hand side really wins this. It's either Lily has to be a pop-off player, or they have to be able to win these lanes individually, and I still feel like they need a little anti-tank. I definitely don't think Janet's that, and Filippo, of course, one-on-one versus BB. It's probably fine, but I don't really see advantage. Court's the only one off the top of my head that's been a popular option that comes through as that quote-unquote anti-tank, but I don't know if it's a perfect answer. It's not necessarily fun to play against Sandy or Chester.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It really isn't. Otis, it's another one of those kind of mid-range brawlers that can do a decent job against the majority of people. Going to be decent against the BB as well. Should be able to cycle a lot of supers, get some good hypercharges. But this, I think, for me, this comp that Novo's got, it's going to be really hard for them to like break out of spawn if they get stuck there. Endless Sandy supers off, you know, a couple of the brawlers. It's going to be difficult. They're going to need control. They need Lily to do a good pop-off here, and I feel like it's going to be a tough job for Lily to do.
They're going to demand a lot of that, Lily. I'm right there with you. If Lily plays well, things are probably going good for Novo, and if things are going bad, Lily has to essentially be perfect, because you're going to have to either make that pop-off play with the hypercharge or the super, use that combination with the gadget just to get the job done. 1-1 overall, though. Despite all of this, despite not being seen as one of the top-tier teams, especially after a blunder last month, Novo are still very much in this. Let's start things off a little sneaky. Filippo down this right-hand side. Just going to see what happens here. A little sandstorm. Oh, nice contact with the Sweet Dreams. They're able to make it work.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like Lukey kind of just swapping sides with the Lily down that bottom, but he did come back to help out his team. Yeah, with 5 gems off the start, nothing that Hmble at the moment can really keep hold of. They get the kill, and that's just feeding Boss a lot of super, in my opinion. Meow there and forced to jump away. It leaves him a little bit susceptible to Lukey, but I'm sure he'll be fairly close to super if he's using a gadget like that. Little super being used there by Filippo as well, and somehow he clipped the back of Lukey's knock. I thought he was aiming the other way.
Oh, a vitamin booster kept him alive a little bit longer, and this tandem of Semantic and Boss have been able to answer Filippo every time they've dove in. Now Filippo popping out, has that hypercharge super, but needs to be careful. A big mistake that pros oftentimes make is they use it and they call their shot too early. Filippo, if he's going to extinguish his hypercharge, has to make it count. Just going to be going for a regular one right now. Lukey's still staying alive, and of course, that baseball bat going to be a great tool. One of the better brawlers in this meta. They are bullying Filippo in that bottom left-hand corner.
That was a really nice kill, and they managed to get a lot of these gems back as well. pretty much, well, it's tied actually with Boss picking up that 6th one now. Super and a hypercharge still available for Filippo, but Boss going to go down, and Filippo just misses that because his teammate has just killed him. Terry there as well, but Luki's muted out, but he lands straight on top of him. I don't think he's got a gadget to be able to get away. Luki needs to find that hit, but doesn't even go for it. Super's backwards, and Filippo needs to survive, but not anymore as Terry gets one from mid. They're going to need 2 kills.
Oh, and Terry just leaking down this right-hand side. They have to be really careful. Luki with 3 gems on his head, healing up. They get the kill. Nicely done by Novo. What a heist from them. Such a powerful start from Hmble. And somehow, Novo are still able to grab that game. There were even mistakes from Lily, and not a great start from her either. She was dying a lot, but KD is not what you're looking for out of this brawler. You just have to be good for one play, the final play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, she literally missed a hypercharge that she was holding for the majority of the game, really waiting for the best moment to use it, and then just didn't end up getting any use of it at all. Otis versus BB off the start's not really going to be BB's favorite matchup. And Boss needs to try and scout out Filippo here. Doesn't see him yet, but now finds him with that shot. Should be a pinch down between Semantic and Boss, but unnecessary for Semantic to move off his mark as Boss cleans that one up and gets a good amount of supercharge early.
Filippo dies, but keep in mind, Lily has a ring around her which charges that super, so she's got to be pretty close to it, especially if she encroaches a little bit further. Boss, though, he's just a menace, man. Just a great player overall, able to get that kill, looks for Sweet Dreams, misses this time. Meow up in the skies now, flies over Semantic, trying to reveal where Boss is to give Terry an easier time, but Terry going to struggle with this. Not a wall-peeking kind of brawler.
Luki's done a good job of following Filippo there, and he'll get pinched down by Boss, who gets a super in turn. And Meow doing a great job of just running straight at them, getting the kills, but at the moment he's got no gems to even protect, so he can be that aggressive. 9 gems now to 0, and Novo started well in this first game, but ever since, really haven't been putting on a good show.
Tall order for Filippo, who has charged a super. Luki swings that baseball bat, takes a crack at a second one as well. A bubblegum bounce will eliminate them, and it's Hmble encircling their foe. Filippo has to go with a gadget here early, disappears, and going to have to back down. Meow with a super available. If he goes to the sky, not going to do a ton of damage. Terry throwing out a fat splatter just to try and reveal where the enemy team is. Meow in the skies finally, but Semantic way too healthy to get anything done. A nice match there from Hmble in this set.
I mean, that was great from Hmble, it really was. Really solid stuff. You know, that's kind of what we expected from them off the start. I was thinking that Lily was going to struggle even more than she did in that first game. She had a few moments here and there, but BB in the second seemed to ignore a little bit more and allow the Sandy to focus down on that Lily and get a lot of supers off the back of it. And so many supers Boss did get, but not only that, but Semantic just had so many gems so early on, and Novo really didn't get a look in at the spawn.
Boss hugging this corner, waiting for Filippo. They know it's inevitable. It's going to be a matchup they face with several tags there. Filippo flashed that super, don't think quite got it up, so I think he'll have that recharge and be ready to go.
4 gems then for Novo Esports, getting a lot more this time. I think Filippo must have supered in there or caught him off guard in the bush, couldn't quite see. But Semantic gets a super of his own, trying to fight back through this mid, and the heal it will be, but he gets peppered down so hard there by the Otis. Filippo throws out another super and gets nothing back from it again. Seems to be a risk taker with these supers, and it doesn't seem to be paying off.
That was completely blind, and he was already low damage anyways. I don't know what he expected to do. I don't think that was going to be a kill regardless. Hypercharge for Meow, so going to take off and have complete control of how to navigate the skies. Semantic left all alone as Luki does work on the top left-hand side. Look at the bounce there. Filippo picks them up, disappears, but Luki is waiting. They have the mute button ready to go. Finally, they get one onto Luki at a pivotal moment, but regardless, Hmble have now taken over complete control of the grassy area by the spawn side. This is exactly where Luki wants to be.
I mean, that bubble was just non-stop killing people at that point. He got, I think, 2 kills in there just with the bubble. Terry round the side. He knows he's there because he's getting damaged down. Semantic comes in for the pinch. Terry narrowly surviving, but they will find the kill. And it's 6-6, but all the control with Hmble. And a Lily with 6 gems is not what you want.
Need a bounce back from Filippo. He hasn't been the best with these supers so far. The decision-making has been questionable to say the best. There's a kill for them. Meow has a super available. Terry with a hypercharge. Luki rendered useless. Can't even make a strike against any of the enemy's side. Finally, Noah with a semblance of control.
Great way to reclaim those gems, though. And now, Semantic getting some shots in. Super available as well. Boss gets the kill. And now it's 9-7. If you can just get this next one from the mid, they will be able to start the count. And it won't be able to be stopped, but what a super in from Filippo. Great stuff from him and the gadget straight out. But they managed to recover the majority of the gems. It flips slightly in favor of Novo Esports, and that one will start the count for them. But they've got to stay central.
There's the 1-2 punch we were looking for. Filippo making it count. Still 10 gems, though. The mid-fight is important. Hypercharge going down the right-hand side. It's going to completely cut off Filippo as he gets closer and closer to another gadget gadget. There goes that 10-10 situation. Tense moment in the mid here. Meow also has a super saved up, so if they grab a gym, they can get off. Bots matching. Oh, this is not a good takedown, though. Terry has the advantage. They've now muted Lukey as well. They're looking for a kill. Lukey can't respond. Now a fat splatter on the ground. Can't go anywhere. Meow picks these up, has a super available, and I think knows that they can take off towards the skies. With 12 seconds to go, Hmble have to rush quickly. It's going to require a kill. No more luxury of going to the mid. That's a good roll of the dice from Semantic, but Novo being pinched in this top right-hand side corner. Meow in the sky, leaves the teammate all alone. It'll all work out. It was sloppy, but nonetheless, a Novo set.
I mean, what a set that was as well. They just had so many ways to escape at the end there with the Janet flight, the Lily gadget. Everything they needed was right there for them. And it's incredible from Novo. Being able to take, even a set of Hmble's incredible. Being 2-1 up is a big thing for them, and they need to take advantage of this situation and stop Hmble before they can answer back.
Novo Esports with an advantage here. Again, this is the second semifinal in a row. It's just shocking when you see in comparison to last month that Foot and Hmble, while there were some decent moments, were mostly able to roll over their opponents in this stage. It was a two-legged race, and now Team Heretics coming alive. Novo Esports doing the exact same. Wouldn't surprise me if we still went to set 5, but once again, instead of 2 worthy teams last month, it really feels like there are 4 teams well-equipped to go to the grand finals.
Even in our discussions coming into this weekend, we kind of talked about EMEA, it's going to be Hmble versus Foot in the grand final again. But now, not only Team Heretics has proven that maybe there's some other people in the ring here, also Novo. 2-1 up now. That's incredible to see, honestly. I would still love if they would actually make it into the grand final. I always like the underdogs to make it. Again, I think I would have even preferred a Novo versus Team Heretics, a grand final in the end. If it's Hmble Novo, still good. And we get once more an Italian derby.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. It really would. But, I mean, this is, an incredibly close match. I have full faith that Hmble are going to be able to bounce back from this one. Because they are the massive favourites coming into this. They've been putting on a decent job. I just feel they're making a few mistakes here and there that they shouldn't be making. And I think that was shown perfectly in the knockout to start with. But after that, Novo have been just so good. They're drafting really well. They've made a few plays here and there with that Lily that were slightly questionable. But after that, he played an absolute blinder.
Let's see if they can do it again. Hideout is going to be the next map. Hmble on the brink of being extinguished here and knocked out of the contention to make it into the grand final. Foot Esports is just waiting there, and they are probably hoping Novo makes it through. They also want another opponent than last month themselves. Hideout, always a good map for Gene. I feel that's definitely a good pick on this one. For the first time ever, I feel like Ziggy could be a good pick here, and he's actually not banned out. He's been banned out 9 times, never picked up. So on the maps where he's actually good, he's usually bad.
Nani going to be the selection here. I'm also in the long term going to look out for something like a Bell for either side, to be honest with you. It doesn't do great into Nani, but it was a double ban yesterday in the semifinals when this map appeared. And also when I see a Gene composition, Gene loves to surround teammates to provide magic puffs of healing, so Bell's bounce shot naturally is a way to combat that.
Well, what will they add to the Gene? I mean, as you mentioned, the Ziggy's a great option, but, if there's so much to aggress it, then it can struggle occasionally. So, got to be a little bit cautious. It might be a good, third and final pick for one of the teams. We'll see what comes down. It's going to be the Meeple, so the ability to box people up, shoot through walls, is a big help on a map like this on Hideout. When, even if walls are broken down, you can build up some of your own, but she is going to struggle if fighting people at range, but you just got to get in those really good positions, behind that wall on the right-hand side or left-hand side if you're attacking. You can do so much from those positions.
Novo rate this Meeple quite highly. I've already picked him up on Goldarm Gulch, that first set. Carl now coming in, another brawler we haven't seen too much of, but he can actually compete with Kaze in the race of the Blue Star. He's actually even faster, so Blue Star probably going the way of Novo here if they decide to follow that strategy. With the Meeple and his gadget, Meeple's Mansion, they can also use that Gene pull even better, so I quite like the synergy between those two brawlers. Now last pick on the left hand side, maybe something to support the Kaze, never mind. Of course it's going to be the Pierce again, Lukey's favorite brawler at the moment, it seems.
Put the ball in Lukey's hands, I love it. It's going to be a Blue Star victory, I think, to your point, for the flying hook on the right hand side, and I think that makes that Kaze pick a little less valuable. It's still a great brawler overall though, so I don't think it's a complete loss. It's nice to have an assassin. It's just going to take maybe a little more work to make it, provide some value.
Yeah, I mean, the flying hook's always a great thing to have off the start, to be able to secure that blue star. As you said, it makes Kaze that little bit worse, but also kind of forces her to push into you rather than the other way around, which definitely disrupts that brawler a bit more on a map where you kind of have to be pretty balanced in terms of when you want to go aggressive as an assassin and when to play defensive, help out your teammates. But Hmble in desperate need of getting this set, or if they are going to be knocked out of the competition and Nova will be going to the finals. We'll see if that's going to be the case. The blue star actually still did go to Semantic's side, so I'm not sure if that's just a bit of an oversight or if she actually does beat the Carl.
I was doing brawler math in my head. I really did think Carl Flying Hook would win, but it's got to be close regardless. Maybe it was a misstep to your point, or maybe it was a calculated decision not to. We'll have to find out in round number 2 here as the Fish Barrel goes down. Luki going to push the enemies away. Semantic rushes up that right-hand side. Filippo low HP. Confirmation that it is the Flying Hook. So Hmble just off to a flying start. Blue star plus a kill.
Yeah, really good stuff for them. You can't complain about this start for Hmble. Meow has the super though. Expecting a gadget to come down shortly and the shots with the super to be thrown out. Semantic just hiding behind this wall. Carl got some good positioning, and Nova aren't going to complain about this position, but they've just got to make use of it now. Super available, but actually didn't manage to get anybody in the box. Terry coming far left all the way around the gadget, trying to pinch in and get a super.
This is where Nova can dish some serious pressure. Vengeful Spirits going down. Semantic with a nice dodge. Filippo, though, rushing in. A bounce back there. Now low HP for them as the super will make contact. Luki once again providing for this roster. Hypercharge going down for Meeple as Meow can walk through walls. Luki has no chance in that interaction, especially as a sharpshooter. Going to be low HP. Oh, and now 7 stars adding up. Nova are taking the lead. They have to be careful because Meow's the man with it. And Terry, a great one to carry that blue star, somebody that's going to keep the distance. Oh, I did not expect that. That was definitely a mistake.
Yeah, great answering shot there from Boss. Now, 2 stars in it, the blue star with Hmble, so anybody will flip this game on its head. The peep should be coming in shortly as they still need to kind of get that out of the way and then come in with the backup with 15 seconds left. Super available from Meow, so can't over-aggress. Gadget should be coming in shortly, throws it towards Luke even though he's going towards Semantic. And they're just trying to fend this one off. Super going to miss there as well. Meeple super available and does get used, just trying to get some shots in. Everybody falling, nobody's going down. Terry on the left-hand side, just retreating, pinned into a corner, but couldn't step too far forward to try and get the kill. Didn't want to overcommit and ended up with nothing.
If you're playing the numbers game, Hmble have made so many grand finals. They haven't necessarily won a lot of them, but they've made grand finals continuously through the last 2 years. Now in Season 3, they're being tested. Something in common with their adversary, Foot Esports on the other side. Semantic this time grabbing the blue star once again. It is seemingly that Kaze wins that interaction, and they desperately need it. Every little inch they can get, they need. Novo Esports are a much better foe than I think they anticipated.
Yeah, well, Gadget's there for Meow, but it really doesn't do too much unless he's got a super or someone to back him up, and Filippo just obviously not going to choose to go and flying hook towards that with the super that he's managed to secure pretty early on, to be fair. Bear in mind, this is match point, and Hmble got a lot of answering to do. Luki getting peppered down by the Gene shots now, and slowly running back to spawn. Pretty similar situation as to what we had the last time, but Novo Esports, as soon as they got that Meeple super, just walked on in.
Hmble in a defensive stance. Nice swipe there from Semantic to dodge to the right-hand side. The mobility is one of Kaze's best features. Meow pressing against this wall. I think that's a dangerous thing unless Gene can get a super or something along that to follow up. Oh, there comes Filippo flying in. The tailspin to get out too. And now the heals coming out of Terry. What a great synergy coming out of this composition.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy to have those heals. Terry with the super as well. A minute on the clock, so we've burned half the game down already. Kaze super goes in, but Meow just stopping that right-hand side from progressing with a really nice Meeple's Mansion. Super for Luki, but Terry going for the pull, can't quite find it. He's going to be so low, Peep coming in, and he's going to have to be forced to tank that. Heals coming in from Terry, and Filippo just trying to stay alive, but that super surely sees its demise, and Meow so low too.
Gotta expect Luki to make those shots. Too good of a player. Novo had to have understood that when their backs are against the wall and there's that much pressure onto them, that the sharpshooter is going to win that battle. And now he's got the blue star on top of that. That has to be the main man that they're looking out for.
Well, a hypercharge for Boss is going to be really difficult to push into. Might even choose to not use that super and give up any ground whilst he's kind of static in the back spawn. Hypercharge ready to go for Carl, and that's going to be a really dangerous flying hook. Vengeful Spirit connects on the left-hand side for Luki. They're going to probably be looking at him boxing Semantic, but nobody's got the super to be able to tie that one off. They get the shots in, just going back. The blue star is going to decide this Humble's way, and I thought, surely Novo do the maths on that. That's not changing the game, and they focus on the wrong man.
That wasn't great awareness. I was thinking this might have been the match right there. All they had to do, I think, was flank and then commit to the other brawlers. They had one trapped, give themselves a 3v2 advantage. Now they have a head start to the other two. Easier said than done. It's easy couch brawl stars for me, but to your point, the math just didn't click there. Even if that was their choice to go for the kill, they made the wrong one. They should have focused a different strategy.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I agree. He's kind of boxed up. Just go for a different brawler. I mean, he's got Flying Hulk Protective Pirouette, so he was going to be able to tank a good amount of that Pierce Super as well, but just chose to turn back. Wrong choice from Novo, and that can cost them in this game. Semantic takes a shot to the face, but Blue Star went their way once more, giving them the lead early on.
Boss operating on the right-hand side, wide open lane. It's going to be a swap over to Filippo, knowing that Meow can't keep up the distance. Another cube castle going down, but Lukey tiptoe around it on that left-hand side. Semantic, of course, in the mid. For 3 straight games, has had that blue star, and it's been swung a few times, but especially as an aggressive brawler, it's nice that he can grab it, but now he has to play much more defensively, and I think Semantic would rather go on the offense. Staggers coming out, Nani Peep up the map. It's going to be somewhere off of our screen, looking to make a blow, and there it is. Gene taking some damage, but not enough for a kill by any means.
Yeah, just knocked him forward. I think he was probably hoping his teammates in Lukey and Semantic were a little bit further progressed there to be able to get the pinch of the kill. Vengeful Spirit comes out, just makes a connection with Lukey, but doesn't force him to back off at all, but just pops that gadget, gets a little bit of ammo back, but now ran out. He will have to retreat all the way back to spawn, and that gives Novo a bit of ground to gain.
No kills being exchanged yet. Very timid from both of these sides, but it's Novo encroaching, getting closer and closer, and now Terry flashing that super. Oh, but Lukey just a little bit better. The shell on the ground for the extra tag, and all of a sudden, Novo Esports positioning has gone to disastrous. Meeple left all alone. He's juking for his life out here, but the fish and barrel goes through. They're taking shots for him as well. Hmble coming alive in set 4.
They're going to need this pull now, or it's going to be dragged to a set number 5. Actually going to need a couple of kills, no matter who they go for here as well. Meow, super in hand, but can't get any further forward. Terry just being kept back. Kaze super on top of him as well. He's going to surely be able to get that kill down the bottom, but Meow trying to find one, bounce back from the return to sender, and Terry accepts defeat as Hmble going to drag this one to a set 5.
What a match. These semifinals have been a treat. Foot Esports and Hmble being challenged on all sides, EMEA rising throughout the ranks. What an awesome day of matches. I mean, EMEA has come out with fireworks this month.
I'm really loving what we're getting delivered today. Both semifinals go all the way. Both of them could have been our grand finals too. And we see some really interesting drafts coming out of Novo. It almost worked out, Trev, in this one as well. Here with the Carl and the Meeple, 2 brawlers we not see too often, especially that Carl didn't have any showing today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Carl, you know, it's got potential there. And honestly, I thought the same as you, Kenny. I would have assumed that the Flying Hook would beat him to the first star. But Kaze just beating him in that narrow match. Well, I thought here, right, you go.
100%.
Like,
100%.
He's going to eat a lot of that damage from the super with the protective pirouette. Yes, he's probably going to get hit in the face by a nanny super, but you've got to try it. You really do. The other two aren't getting there.
Again, it's easy. I'm backseat brawling a little bit, right? But I can do simple math. And, you know, in these big plays, in these moments where there's 15 seconds on the clock, there's a shot clock in front of your face, you know you have to make a big-time play. I think it's easy to let something like that go. So I'm not going to absolutely attack them for it, but it's those little mistakes that might just cost them a shot at the grand finals.
Very unfortunate. They were so close to making it into the grand final, but it's not over yet. They still have a chance to get a second match point and make their way through to Foot Esports, just waiting for them. And again, I think Foot Esports will probably be happy if Novo will make it through. It would be a new opponent compared to the February monthly finals. And on paper, Novo is still looking a bit shakier than Hmble, but from what we've seen in this semi-final, Hmble is just as shaky.
I mean, it's just back and forward. I feel like one's been shaky, the other's been shaky, one's been shaky, the other's been shaky for the sets that they've won. So now it's just a question of who's going to be able to come into the set number 5 with the least shaky hand and get this win done. I mean, it's going to be a big thing for Novo to get some massive amount of points on the board after a very disappointing first month of not qualifying. Hmble are going to want to get as many points as they can because they've actually got a possibility of getting to this Brawl Cup. So it's a big thing for both of these teams, but I think for Hmble, it's huge for their Brawl Cup thing, but Novo need to get points on the board for later in the year.
I do want to point out once more here as well that yesterday we set up the narrative of we don't really have many South Korean players in the game. It's all about Japan in East Asia. Terry moves over to EMEA and is actually making it through to the semifinals. He's almost in the grand final, even in a region like this one, even in EMEA.
I'm going to take a gander here that this is going to be a tough matchup. I mean, this set 5 is very important. Semantic going to be taking charge here. And this roster, a very good one. I think what's plagued them in their history is going to be getting to those grand finals and then winning them. But right now, to already have this battle early on, I think it's confidence for me in Novo Esports as we progress throughout the year. But on top of that, it's now a challenge for the entire region. I mean, I think it's reshaping what I really imagined. You talked about it earlier. Hmble and Foot were the top two teams, it seemed, coming into this in terms of watching scrims. EMEA is easily the one I watched the most of, and I still came to the same conclusion. And yet on game day, we're getting something entirely different.
Again, would have been nice to have two completely new rosters standing in the grand final of March, but maybe Novo still makes it. And also, Novo Esports did the same last year. It was a completely different roster, but this org, nobody had them on the radar to win a grand final of a monthly final, and they did win in March. This is just their month, Kenny.
We're not playing any games when it comes to set number 5, Crow and Bull. Immediately eliminated, they escaped the ban stage, but there's another popular Buffy brawler right off the rip. It's going to be BB coming in for Novo Esports, and I think it was pretty telegraphed that they wanted something aggressive. They had Otis, Nita, and also Cordelius out of the way. So I think just grabbing that early is their way of making sure they have claim to the brawler that everybody's got their eye on.
BB, by far the most picked brawler on the map. Like this one, surprised that Hmble left it open, but they probably had a plan behind it. Otherwise, yeah, kind of a mistake here. They also banned out Crow themselves, so maybe they were hoping to get her themselves. Now they are going to follow up with some aggressor on their end too. It's going to be Kaze, maybe paired with Ruffs is something we see quite often here. Or they pick up something to that usually would counter out that Kaze. Spike, usually the pick, but he's global banned. What would you go with, Trev?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't mind the rush out at all because I think Kaze's a lot more capable out in the open than a BB would be. RT for me is a really solid role as well, just being able to get, obviously because it's heist, it's more aggressive, you're going to be bubbles faces more, you're going to be able to get more super hypercharge charge, and that's going to do a lot of work. For me, I think the hypercharge is what wins games for Hmble here.
The hypercharge, also what we've seen quite recently, RT just leave his legs behind on your own save, go ahead and attack the opponent's save. He can both defend and attack at the same time. That's a super neat strategy, I feel.
I'm wondering if Ziggy finally shows up here when it matters, because escape the ban stage, the only thing I'm looking out for is if anybody shows any signs of wall break, because otherwise, EMEA pros especially have taken advantage of the buff out of him. It doesn't necessarily seem like an intuitive heist-safe brawler, and there's a lot of aggression coming on that right-hand side, so it may stray them off it, but the area control it has is so good. He's definitely taking a step in the right direction and back up a pro tier list because of the recent balance change. So I'm curious if this is finally when we get to see the guy.
I feel like they now have two options. Either they break open the map, Colt is super strong thanks to his buffies, or they go with Rico, is what I wanted to say. They're going to go with Charlie. They really want to defend that Kaze, and Hmble still technically has the option to go with something aggressive themselves. Now seeing, though, that they're definitely not going to break open the map on that right-hand side, Hmble could now pick up the Rico.
You should have said, oh, I really think they're going to go Charlie as it was coming up, because it would have timed perfectly.
I'm not going to cheat.
So
no cheating.
But no, I like that. I really do like that Novo draft. I think BB is a bit of an oversight to leave open here, no matter what you're going to be able to play against it. It's just so good through the grass, around the sides, really solid. And she doesn't need to predict. She doesn't need to cheat. She gets it right anyway. And Rico comes in as the last pick for Hmble, and I do like that as well. The control that these guys should have should be really solid.
Yeah, I was doubling down on it too. I think Rico is a clear pick there, especially with no wall break going down. Sure, as a squishy brawler, it's not necessarily in a one-on-one interaction up close going to do well into some of these other enemies, but nonetheless, it's still going to get so much high save damage.
You thought that too? You should have said so then.
I couldn't say it out loud if you were talking.
All right, guys, let's not argue.
It's me clicking.
It's the last set between those two teams, Novo versus Hmble. Only one of these Italian orcs will make it into the grand finals for Novo. It's the first monthly final of the year they even qualify, and they're so close to making it all the way.
Just one more for both these teams, and what seems to be a pretty decent start for Hmble as they just 1% off getting that first crack. Yet to do it now, though. And this could be, in turn, a bit of a good spot for Novo to be in. Nice cocoon there, but instantly back out of it, and Meow gets obliterated by Lukey. and they should surely get this crack done now. You'd expect just one Rico shot or something to get it, and they do. Filippo going to fall as well, and Meow swinging into nothing, and a hypercharge already, but he gets dealt with so fast.
Hypercharge early, like you said, but it was completely useless. I mean, just a little bit of damage coming out of it. The good news for them, though, is they are a crack ahead on this high save. They've already gone down that 75% for Lipo, using a tailspin just to try and gain some space here. Meow cleans up on that top side as well, and Novo need to make a surge here. Have an opportunity with that BB hypercharge. Now the vitamin booster coming in as well. They get a takedown. Semantic, not going to love that interaction. Tries to climb his way up towards Terry, but a cocoon will shut him down.
Yeah, he's going to want to use this hypercharge bubble, and there's more people around. Maybe try and get a bit of an angle to bounce it back on someone else. Semantic just going up, trying to get that correct done at the same time, and Nova will do theirs successfully. Boss one shot, but Meow doesn't want to be anywhere near him. They're going to get another crack down here with a few more swings from Meow. Great stuff, and Terry joining them up top as well. Lukey will fall. Cocoon, unfortunately for Novo, is going to be missed, but they're flying.
Bubblegum bounce doesn't quite make contact with that heist save, and now Hmble with an opportunity. Filippo doing the best that he can, but 12% still not enough to suffice.
Yeah, a few more bubbles will do that though. Bounce down the mid a couple of times, back and forward. Meow just pushing on. Gets a decent knockback, I think, in there, but they will survive. They're going to try and get this crack down. They really need to stop them from doing just that, though. Cocoon going to keep Semantic alive. They get the crack. Can he defend? Waits a hypercharge, and Lukey's going to throw a super on safe. Shot through from Filippo. Boss really low, and he falls. They need to get up now, and the bubble sent down mid.
Meow throws one up. Semantic trying to creep his way down the left-hand side. Tailspin. Only one shot available, though. Bottom of the map. BB trying to go down. There's the gadget from Filippo. It's going to be a tight race. There's one. He needs one more tag and should get it. Yes, he does. 5% the separator, and Novo Esports are on match point.
Such a close game, and just a couple more swipes from Semantic in that situation up top would have got the job done. But Novo defend well and keep themselves ahead. Match point for them, and what an upset this would be if it gets done. We're all expecting Hmble to get to the finals at the start of the day to face off against Foot, but will it be Novo?
Possible Berlin spots on the line, and Hmble could be a lot scarier for them if they don't find a way to win 2 straight games. Hmble with an early elimination. They're going to let Semantic loose on this top-hand side. Novo making a complete choice. All offense. Willing to make that trade is now 1150s, raining down on the high save. It took him a really long time to get rid of Kaze, though. I don't know if that was worth the trade-off.
Yeah, really nice work from Filippo there, I will say. Baited out that RT super and forced him to put his legs really far back, but not really, defending the safe too much at all. Terry getting beaten down now. Filippo trying to take that head-on matchup against Boss, and that's never going to go in his favor. Terry doing a great job. Actually earns himself a hypercharge, but Hmble have got quite the lead in terms of percentage.
And they're only 4 percentage points away from getting that 50% marker. Every layer of this high save counts. Hypercharge for Filippo. Oh, that was not good decision-making. There's been a few sets here today where Filippo's a fantastic player, but between the Lily and this Carl, just feels like a lot of purple buttons have been wasted.
Yeah, lovely little cocoon there from Terry as well. Just a miss swipe there for Meow, though. He really needs to hunt down Semantic now. Hypercharge up top, and that's going to get the crack. He can get back to his legs as well, but he's left them there for pretty much the entirety of the game. Meow coming forwards, gets the knock on that, but it's just non-stop attack from Hmble, and they might be able to get it done fairly soon.
And now the Fan Storm doing a little extra damage. They're waiting for that high safe to become attackable once again. A few bounce shots down to 20. Still neck and neck. If it's anything like game number 1, this is going to be another buzzer beater. Boss establishing himself for a little bit of defense here as all 3 Hmble members cluster up. Filippo this time makes the hypercharge count. Will dwindle Semantic down. Now he's going to be a goner too. Lukey looking for bounce shots. Oh, Filippo popping up here. 253 tries to escape. Good defense, but Novo have given themselves a chance.
Yeah, they need this crack now if they get the chance. Semantic going up. Needs to be a good defense from Filippo. He's been playing well on the Carl so far, but this could be an issue. Super right on the edge of it, and that will tie up the game for Hmble. We're going to a double match point to see who gets to the final.
Been surprises all year long in 2026. And a dawn of new heroes. We're getting yet another one. Novo Esports still with a chance to take down the caliber of team like Hmble. And Hmble also with an opportunity to double down, to say that they deserve this. A newfound hunger. Devastated by the 2025 results. Haven't gotten tenured with enough grand finals for the resume. They want more. They want Brawl Cup. And if they want that guarantee, they need to start making it happen right now in one final game.
Yeah, Meow really needs to start winning this matchup against the Rico off the start when he can just run it down. Nice damage coming in early on. Semantic getting kills. Really nice stuff. But Filippo just out here defending, trying to stop him. Both damage gears activating. Semantic gets the kill, but both cracks done early on, and a hypercharge used there from Terry.
Now we'll respawn. Double brawlers up the middle of the map. Already, he's taking some heavy heat. Lukey with the beautiful bounce shots as well. They're up 15 all of a sudden. Fanstorm going down for extra measure. Terry multitasking, trying to handle so many different angles from this Hmble onslaught.
Filippo with the super in hand. There's the Cocoon. Might give him a chance to get this kill or go up. He's going to choose to just leave and go. There's the second crack for Hmble, but Filippo going to do more of the same down the bottom. They've still got some defensive measures going. Meow should be able to get the kill on Semantic. Needs to before he gets this super. And that's going to be yet another crack. 25 to 50 around. Boss defending well, but Terry, can he do it on his own?
Lukey getting all the remaining shots that he can. Filippo forced back. Novo have to be perfect the rest of the way. Need a lot of offense here as Semantic dashes to the right-hand side. They're going to be distracted. A Cocoon going down as well. Fanstorm trickling it away. And the Grand Finals Grinders once again make it in a thriller matchup. We're getting a repeat of February monthly finals. It's match number 2 coming up. Foot versus Hmble once again.
I mean, I think the reaction to that camera is just going to show you the difference between these two teams, to be honest. One, it's a sign of relief for winning and getting to the grand finals. If Novo would have won, they'd have been jumping out their seats in, celebration. These guys expect to be there. Novo are huge underdogs and have put on a great show for us today in the semi-final number 2. Both semi-finals have been incredible, to put it lightly. Really great Brawl Stars, it absolutely is. But Novo just cut short by Hmble. And I mean, you got to feel for him, but Hmble deserving of the win in the end.
Not gonna lie, I already crossed out Hmble on my list. I was like so sure after that game number 1 that Novo would actually make it through. But Hmble, they just have so much great, even if they're in the back foot, they come back even stronger. And that's what makes this roster so strong. They had a little bit of shaky moments today, but so did Novo. And Hmble in the end is just a more experienced roster.
Still thrilled for this region as a whole, and I think it's a commonality with yesterday as well. I'm going to learn from this. Zeta Division, I thought, were above and beyond the rest of them, predicted them the whole way. And despite this being the exact same grand finals as last month, I think the journey to get here shows that other teams are well equipped to battle. Devastation from Novo, though. I mean, hate to see it, especially for somebody like Terry, who made a bold move to move regions and to go through last